Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jackie Asamoah, and I am not the disgraced YouTuber who abandons platforms and only posts on YouTube once a month because I ain't doing nothing else. No, I'm a woman who is spread thin and busy as hell. I'm also on every single platform, which means I get to it when I can. However, this video is going to be a sit down, get ready with me. I'm going to be talking about business. I'm going to be talking about family. I'm going to be talking about friendships, relationships, life, cutting people off, boundaries, being a brand founder, being an entrepreneur. And I'm going to be showing you a look that has pretty much become one of my favorites during the fall. It's this stunning sage green, sultry. I don't really want to call it soft glam because soft glam is really matte, but it's just really such a beautiful, stunning look where you can get a pop of color without it being like in your face. And I love it. And this video is done in partnership with Google. Shout out to Google. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into glam. Jump scare. I know I look great right now. Stop, please. Stop. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. For oily, acne-prone skin, mineral sunscreens are my favorite. They don't get super oily. They're not overly hydrating. They don't make me break out. But the cost, this is the finish that they give. And if you're tempted to recommend a sunscreen that's clear, I promise you if it's clear, it's not a mineral sunscreen. It's a chemical sunscreen. Your girl likes what she likes. So I pretty much only save mineral sunscreens when I'm doing makeup, hence why I look crazy the way that I do now. Right now I'm applying the Fenty newest primer. Fenty hasn't really given us a good primer in years, but this new, it's like a dual phase. It's called their Grip Trip Primer. No notes. If you have oily skin, amazing. And it's also not drying. The only thing though is you're gonna see your SPF come back, but here's the thing. I would never do this combo on bare skin. I'm gonna go right into brow prep with the ABH Brow Freeze. I'm not gonna lie, this is a product that has stood the test of time for me. I don't like brow freeze. I love brow freeze. This is a product that works so much better when there's no other product on your skin. So don't do this when you've already done your foundation. You really are gonna be brushing it onto the skin, molding my brows in a place like a pomade. So I start going up and then at a side angle, using that spoolie, I just smooth the top. So we get like a nice cut line. Shout out to the days of doing that with concealer. You just had to be there. I don't really feel like you're a bad bee unless you've made beauty and fashion and hair makeup mistakes and risks. And you know, the concealer brow halo, there was a time and place. I just don't think 2025 is that time. Or 2026. Or 2030. Whenever I have annoying pilling products, I just take a clean spoolie and just kind of brush them off. Because once you start putting product on top of it, it's gonna really be crazy. And you don't wanna leave excess brow freeze up here either, because when you go do the rest of your face, it will catch onto that. It will create kind of like a patch spot. To clean up under the brow, I'm gonna take my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer. I think I'm probably the only person, maybe the only content creator keeping Kevyn Aucoin in business. Because the way nobody on my timeline talks about them, but I don't care. Staples are staples. I like what I like. I use shade 13. I do wish they had another shade that was like the same depth of shade 13, but was a little bit more warm, because shade 13 is quite pink. I will say most of these sensual skin enhancers are kind of cool tone. They run really cool. And they're fine for what I need them to do, but I just wish they had a lot more shade versatility, because black girls are not always red. We're just not. I was actually supposed to film this video yesterday before a Forever Mood photo shoot. We haven't launched a new core collection candle in a while, like a couple years. And so I was basically supposed to film this Get Ready With Me before that shoot, but things just didn't pan out and I was rushing and I was like, no, I actually wanna talk and I can't film YouTube videos in a rush. So I just decided to scrap that and make a comprehensive, more layered video where I'm not just talking about getting ready for the shoot. But anyway, raise your hand if October has been whipping your ass. In a good way, in a good way. October tried to take me out, child, and not because something bad happened. No, nothing bad happened. I've just been like super busy. What's so crazy about like the creator economy is you'll have months where it's like slow, like a little bit more chill, not too much on the travel. And then all of a sudden you'll get like one opportunity after the other, after the other, after the other. Sometimes I just want to be like, can y'all brands get on one big universal calendar so the girls can get a nap in? I'm gonna use the Born This Way concealer as my shadow base. I love the shade Butterscotch. Just a little bit to really saturate my whole eyelid. This is pretty much the only shadow primer that I'll be using. Concealer, a really light concealer to be exact. When I get super busy, it's very easy for me to kind of like hibernate and get into like, put my head down and get into super focus mode. But the thing is I still wanna be able to show up for my friends and show up to things and be present and to be able to still just be like an overall involved social person, which isn't the easiest thing to do. For those of us that are hyper independent, it can be very easy to just crawl into a hole and focus on what's right in front of you and sometimes fall off the face of the earth. And then your friends are like, hey, like, you know that Miss Juicy Baby meme where she walks into the room and it's like, hey, how y'all doing? I feel like that's me reintegrating back into society when I've just completely isolated myself from everybody because I was focused on something else. That's not exactly fair to people that love you, and it's also not really like a good way. It's gonna be everywhere and I'm okay with that, but I want to intentionally try to show up for things as much as I possibly can. So that means even when I get busy, even when I'm in the thick of it, with Forever Mood, with content, with brand trips, still try and show up for people because they would also show up for you. Which also brings me to, okay, I'm gonna put on this first layer of powder and then I'm gonna show you what we shot because I mentioned this earlier, but we launched our first candle in a while. But first, let's start with the first foundation. If you have oily skin, I love putting a really light layer of translucent powder over my primer. Right now, I'm setting my color corrector so that my foundation doesn't turn orange. And the color corrector just evened out my complexion. But we want the color corrector to stay right where we put it. I wanted to stay in that targeted area. So I set it with powder. And this also, because the powder is my skin tone, this also acts as like my first layer of coverage. So I don't have to put on 3 pounds of foundation. And the thing is if you know anything about liquid foundations, it doesn't matter how well it's formulated or how oil controlling it is. If you put on a lot of foundation, it's going to be slipping and sliding throughout the day. So start with the powder. Look at what that just did to my face already. You get the program. Speaking of program, yesterday's shoot was for the launch of late checkout. We just haven't really given y'all a good old fashioned candle in a while. And I have been sitting on late checkout for 2 years. But anyway, the notes are sandalwood, amber, and milk. And the best way that I can describe it is a vanilla scent for people who like masculine vanillas. It's very West Coast coded because it's extremely woody and smooth. It's not sticky sweet like most vanillas are. And I love it. Absolutely love it for the winter time.
Speaking of candles in wintertime, holiday shopping is right around the corner. I mean, it's basically happening right now. So let other Jackie tell you guys how we can all be the best gift giver this year with a little help from Google.
You know, I have not started doing any holiday shopping yet.
You know this portion of the video is sponsored by Google and Sephora, right? Yes, girl, that's how I already have all of my presents picked and ready to go. I'm actually just using the Google Holiday 100. So basically the Google Holiday 100 is a list of the top products of the year. And it's literally based on search trends. So girl, if you're ever worried about getting the right gift for the right person, just ask Google. It'll also show you things that'll ship really quickly or are also available for pickup. That is actually how I found the Sephora Favorites Kit that's exclusive at Sephora. And it'll come straight here because you know I love being at home. This one has like 14 of the most popular products, 4 full-size options. 10 minis. And there's actually a mix of hair care, skincare, and makeup, so you can kind of discover something new. I just know you're gonna eat this up. My bad, girl. This is actually supposed to be a surprise for you. See, that's why you need to get on the Holiday 100 list, even if it's just for ideas. You gotta start somewhere. And that's why I love it, because it's relevant, all in one place, and seamless to use. And if you're a last minute shopper like me, don't worry. I'm gonna put the link in the description. The Google Holiday 100 list has been a lifesaver, and thank you to Sephora. And that is why I'm still carrying the crown of best gift giver.
Now that you know, let's get back to this look.
Really love the LYS contour sticks. Watch how I'm about to vanish this ring of ashy death that's happening around my hairline right now. The first color that I'm gonna use is Strength, and I work my contour in layers because I go from really dark to like medium dark. And I pretty much only put contour and concealer on my forehead because, again, those two just kind of do what I needed to do. There's no need to add foundation in areas where it's not needed. And today's look is actually going to be a little color. Alert the media. It's crazy how I started my channel being extremely colorful, and then I stopped, and then I became the soft glam girl. I'm pretty much, my vibe is pretty much like, I'm gonna show you what they're gonna tell dark skinned girls not to do. And that's what we're gonna roll with. And that's pretty much the model I've kept since I first started my YouTube channel. And it works for me because at one point, no dark skinned girl was wearing color. Like, everything was natural and everything was like, oh, you don't need makeup. And we kind of were like, record scratch, who said that? So we were basically just kind of leading the pack and showing people that's absolutely not true. And here's how we're gonna show you. Then when soft glam became a trend and red carpet makeup became a trend, I didn't really see it on anyone darker than tan. So I just, I got in the field. As I started to get into that vibe, I started showing people, here's how I do it. So basically whatever my brand is just whatever I'm vibing with at the time. And I still love soft glam. I do a lot of soft glam looks, and the one that I'm gonna do today is really beautiful. So I pretty much got what I needed out of that darker color. Let's go into a softer color because, as you know, or you may not know, hey, welcome. And speaking of which, I can see the percentage of people who are subscribed to me versus who are not subscribed to me that watch my content. And them numbers is very skewed. So if you're here and you're vibing with your girl, please subscribe. Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you. I now switched to the color Courage, and Courage is actually a softer contour color. So I work a lot in layers, and basically I go from the darkest color into a slightly lighter one so that you get a gradient effect, which hopefully you already see is taking place. Huge, massive fan of underpainting. Hence why I'm doing the contour first. Again, I feel like underpainting and doing contour and concealer first is just another way to cheat not having to wear 12 pounds of foundation, which means more longevity out of my makeup and less oil control, less product to have to keep from getting too oily. Now I'm gonna take a smaller brush and just take that lighter brown color straight into like my inner nose bridge. So you can kind of see what I just did, the difference between here and here. I start with contour too, just because it really kind of like ties the look together, makes it look elevated and professionally done. And I think I'm also gonna go ahead and take that contour into my crease. I love using my contour as a crease color because if you notice, when you use colors that are your skin tone, I think those are one of the best ways to get your eyeshadow to look professional, cohesive, elevated. And so all of the colors on your face are all in sync and locked in. I'm gonna start with a taupe color. This is the Major Dimension 3 palette from Patrick Ta, obviously pretty well loved. I'm gonna take that taupe and give that a good spread in my crease. And even if you don't have this palette, you just wanna use something that's ashy because we're gonna use a sage green color on the eyes and you want them to be kind of like within the same scheme. Then I'm gonna take this color from Mario's new Ethereal Eyes Nature palette. It's actually a little bit closer to my skin tone. If taupe scares you, it's okay to use a skin tone colored transition shade. It is not by force, because I get it. Taupe can be kind of daunting. And one thing you'll always catch me do, especially when it comes to the crease area, is blending that up into my brow. I mean, I have big eyes, so obviously I have quite a bit of lid space to work with, but I just feel like eyeshadow looks are so elegant when you blend them all the way up to the brow. You really get to play around with the eye shape by doing that. I'm just gonna use something that's neutral, not shimmery, subtle, and just gently swipe that into my crease just so that it looks like we put a shadow there, because I don't like the way that bare concealer looks when I'm wearing like a full-on eyeshadow look, you know? Not a fan. You do you though. You ready for my favorite part? Because I bought these like a year ago on TikTok Shop and I forgot I had them and they kind of eat. This is from this brand called RMS and this is their eye light. It's a liquid shadow. And every time I use liquid shadows, I'm like, why did I stop? Because it'll always be a freaking liquid shadow for me. If your skin is dark and you have a hard time with shadows showing up in your skin tone, start playing with them liquids. It requires a little bit more skill, a little bit more practice, but just trust me. And I'm not just talking about shimmers. I mean creams. I mean mattes. Yeah. Like full eyeshadow look. It's just so freaking pretty. There we go. I love this. I'm gonna make sure to blend it into my crease because I want that to be really airbrushed and I want the green to be pretty prominent. But then I'm also gonna go back with the shadow and just make sure she looks good. This green from Mario's palette, this one right here. This look is really about to start dancing because all I'm doing is just stamping in that sage green color with more foil shine. I want the shadow to dance a little bit, just a little bit more. But I just want a little punch. Patrick Ta, the shade expansions of these eye duos, major dimension in your dreams, fab. Obsessed. I'm gonna take the top one, just a little freaking bitch, a little bit, because these are really high shine. And I just want to stamp it on my eye. Part of me is a little bit sad that I didn't film this while I was in Japan because I did bring my camera equipment, but listen, again, in this life, you gotta be about balance. And that's just what time it is when it comes to being a brand founder. Like, you're not gonna be able to do it all, and that's okay, but do something. If you can't do it all, do something. Do that one, just hit that one thing and just be really freaking good at it. Give it 200%. Instead of being like spread thin and trying to do everything. That was business advice, by the way. In case you missed it, that was yet another Kevyn Aucoin Central Skin Enhancer. I use shade 14 as a corrector, again, because their stuff runs really red. So shade 14 makes an amazing corrector because this has so much coverage that I really don't gotta wear that much concealer on top of this. I just correct this little area and even out that little bit of discoloration under my eye. This new concealer, I'm actually really liking, and I'm not really seeing that many people talk about it, but it's called We're Even, and the shade that I'm gonna use first is 400N. And this shade is nice and neutral, just how I like it. But on a more slightly personal level, the past 2 years, there have been things that I've experienced that I single-handedly know God was like, you weren't paying attention. Now I have to unload the clip. Our current generation is really obsessed with like their cutoff game. Like, I cut off someone at the first sign of disrespect, da 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 da. First of all, unclench your fists, because I'm gonna tell you, the reason why I have such amazing relationships around me now is because I'm willing to take the risk of giving people chances, most times more than they deserve. Because that is the risk that you take in building a strong community. You shouldn't cut people off at the first offense, and you shouldn't run at the first sign of inconvenience. That's not how you build community. And sometimes, and I've learned this because I've lived life and I've had relationships, sometimes people are not just crappy people, they're just in a season. And so for me, I have to see, is it a season or is it your character? And the only way to do that is to not run at the first inconvenience. However, your spirit will tell you, hey, I wanna ride this out. Like, I'm gonna keep giving the benefit of the doubt. That's what I wanna say. And I think if you're paying attention to people's behaviors, you will know when someone has overextended their welcome. You will eventually know. But unfortunately, you can't really build community until you do a little bit of both. Sometimes that means not running at the first sign of inconvenience. But one of the hardest things that I've had to experience this year is, this is truly me talking to every eldest firstborn daughter. Sometimes the pressure and the weight is crippling. And I think I hit like a personal crossroads where I was like, I'm not gonna be able to maintain at the rate that I'm going. My concealer look good. I just eventually was like, this will all crumble if I don't make changes. And the changes that I had to make were the people, not all of them, but the people that were, some of the people that were closest to me. I'm now switching over to shade 410W, still using Fenty concealer. This one I would say is really warm. I'm gonna tread lightly with this because I am tan. So sometimes if it's a little too orange, it just looks really prominent. And then as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and go back to that House Labs because yeah, she's cute, she's cute. I'm gonna mainly use this like on the outer eye and inner. And I'll just blend these two colors together. For foundation, I'm gonna wear the Fenty foundation because I told you guys we're staying in the Fenty family. The shade that I use is 420, and I'm not gonna lie, technically right now, this is not my shade. This is not my shade. It's actually a little bit too light. I'm still tan from that Japan run. I'm gonna keep reminding y'all that I was in Japan as many times as I can, because it was tea. Where's my setting spray? Then yeah. You know what time it is. Apply the foundation in the brush first, and then setting spray so that we get longevity and this foundation stays put. You're welcome. I feel like I've said this so many times, but I've never said why. It has been the toughest years of my adult life because I've had to really take a long, hard look at some of the people that are closest to me and decide that the weight of what I'm carrying requires me to be in proximity to more people who are pouring into me just as much as I'm pouring into them, because I know I deserve that. There's been things that I've, as a young adult, said, I've rang alarm bells about things that I've experienced. And so now that I'm an adult and I'm really heavy on we gonna break the cycle, and we're gonna break the cycle right now. And this is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Cream Blushes. All-time Hall of Famer in this house. Massive freaking W for blush lovers. Hands down, one of my favorite products. And this is Jubilee. Jubilee is almost like a peachy terracotta. As you can see, I clearly love it. I don't think you realize how much of that product you gotta use to hit pan. And I'm currently scooping out the edges. That's how much I love it. This is the second layer of setting spray. I'm still using Charlotte Tilbury, by the way. That will always be one of my favorite steps. I'm also gonna blend a little bit of that terracotta in my contour because I'm a real big fan, real heavy on blush into the temples. You wanna talk about cohesive? Bring it up here, bring it. Okay, after we do that little light layer of setting spray, go back in and just push all the product back into your skin. I promise you, this will absolutely allow the setting spray to perform a lot better. Now, if we gave just the setting powder category awards, baby, it would be one size. I'm telling you right now, I'm extremely particular about what I use under my eye. This is always gonna be it for me. The shade that I'm using is Sweet Honey. This is like my first layer of powder that basically just sets it. I'm not baking nothing, I'm just setting it. So this is a really light layer because if you go in with too much powder while it's just bare liquid concealer, sometimes it does cling on to that product and then it'll be damn near impossible to blend out. So I just do like a little light, subtle layer first. As you can see, that immediately eliminated the shine. And because this area of my face is a little bit darker, I do like to set it with a little bit of that yellow powder just to brighten it up a little bit. Still working in light layers, not loading this powder on, and also getting rid of the shine in my T-zone and my chin. Then I'm so glad that they ended up coming out with a dark brown shade because This has been it for me in terms of setting the rest of my foundation shade. Dark deep. Dark deep. Fab. Just put a light layer. I always set my nose because she does have an oily nose. And because I don't put foundation on my nose, I always set it with powder so that it looks even with the rest of my face. Why don't I put foundation on my nose? Because it makes my nose more oily. So I just put a light layer of that powder. And then for a little bit more setting and a little bit more coverage, I really love using the Turn Up the Base foundation powder with a light, just a little bit of that on a puff. Shade Deep 2 Golden, by the way, with a light layer of that translucent powder to set only the nostril down. That's pretty much the only ish area that I apply foundation powder. Then I'm gonna use just a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Brightening Powder. This to me adds sort of like a lit from within under eye glow. I think I may be the only person single-handedly keeping Dermablend in business. And it's just always gonna be this damn powder for me. This is Warm Saffron. And if you're wondering why I like this for baking, for me, it's this color. This is actually opaque. So when I put it on my skin, it is not white-based. And then I like to put a little bit on my chin, right in the middle, and my forehead. To play into the softness of the sage green, instead of adding a black liner to my waterline area, I'm actually gonna do brown, dark brown to be exact. Urban Decay is my goat for liners, especially when it comes to browns, because they have a lot of brown shades. And this is the shade Demolition. Also, I'm gonna add like a little subtle wing because I'm gonna do falsies. And I do like to do just like a little subtle layer of liner whenever I wear a lash so we can hide the band a little bit better. It's not meant to have perfect edges. If you're new here, I really have an appreciation personally for unblended liner. Not uneven, unblended. Follow through with the smokiness. Make that liner smoky too, blend it out. Going back to Mara's palette, I'm gonna use this dark brown. This is actually kind of a, at least in this lighting, it looks kind of like a reddish brown, which I'm not mad at all. And I'm just gonna stamp in that liner very subtly, very subtly. Back to this brown, because we're putting this on the bottom lash line. I think the most heartbreaking thing is the people who think that you can carry it all. But I feel like I had to start reaffirming how I wanted people to show up for me. I don't want people to show up for me in ways that pedestalize me or make me feel like I know all the answers, because I absolutely do not. And on that note, let's add bronzer. I love this Lancome bronzer. I'm gonna use the shade 6 Deep Tan. And even though some of the decisions that I've had to make personally and professionally, actually mostly personal, these are mostly like the personal decisions that I had to make. It hurts when you see someone for who they really are. Again, I had to keep thinking about younger Jackie, and the people who let younger Jackie down did not advocate for me, did not protect me, did not stand up for me. And I was like, well, you weren't there for her, so I gotta step it up. But I really owed myself the follow through. I owed myself of not staying in that hell that I was with those people. I saw this quote that said, if you're going through hell, keep going. Why would you stay in hell? Like, no, but for real though, like, why would you stay there? Or worse, why would you go back? Even if it's familiar, even if it's comfortable, even if it's not confrontational, just keep going. I deserve to see what's going to happen. I deserve, because I really do. Like, I'm an incredible person. I know I'm an incredible person, even though my lashes are not on properly. Let's go ahead and apply that terracotta blush, because the way that this is gonna just bring this green all the way together. Yes. Morena Beauté, they will be singing your praises at the pearly gates of heaven. Yes, they will. Jesus knows exactly who Morena Beauté is. Like, I think pink can hit with green too. There's sometimes where I'm just like, no, not everyday peach and terracotta. Sometimes I will wear pink on the rest of my face, but it'll always be peach and terracotta for me. It's color theory. It's not even me, it's color theory. Like, it's fate. This lash better be dry. Did I tell y'all these are so extra Miamis, by the way? My bad, I'm so rude for that. These are so extra Miamis. I always do so extra Miami when I want a little bit of flare in my lash. Just a little bit of just. Now that I'm pretty much done with the rest of my makeup, the brow freeze is completely set and dried down. The thing with brow freeze is a lot of people are like, well, when I go to apply my brow products, it's still oily and greasy. That's why I do my brows like pretty much last in my makeup routine, if that makes sense. Because now it's set and it's not oily. And now I can put brow powder on top of it without it being wonky and weird. It's crazy the personal growth that comes with having a business that I definitely was not expected. Like I've actually had, I mean, I was gonna do that anyway, but I've had to grow in ways that I didn't foresee now that I'm a brand founder. And I am proud of that growth, actually. I am, because I feel like I've been pretty gracious in some scenarios with people who I know for a fact, one, either didn't deserve it or wouldn't have reciprocated. And I just think that's how I want to be an effective leader. Not by being the mom of the friend group and carrying the weight of the, no. What I think I want people to learn is that, you know, everybody is worth giving the benefit of the doubt. That's why I'm so big on my relationships with my friends, because my family is not that big, but like my friends are my chosen family. So we are heavily locked in because it takes so much intention and work to create those relationships and those bonds. To line my lips, I'm gonna use Spunk. It's a hell of a name. It's a dark chestnut brown. That's for my outline. And then I'm gonna take Parchment from ABH, which is like a peachy brown liner. And I'm gonna use this to blend out that dark brown. NARS Exposed. She's actually kind of like a peachy brown. And then I'm gonna finish my look with this bomb. I'm not just saying this because I like Marvella, but she has this beauty brand called Marviano Cosmetics, and the shade that I'm gonna use is Nude Nectar, but this is what I need to tell you. You know how when lip glosses give you that nasty, crusty ring on the outside after wearing it for a couple hours? These glosses don't do that. And this is the shade Nude Nectar. So that is my look. That is my life. I didn't realize I was gonna spill that much tea today, but this was a lingering topic that I've been wanting to get off my chest, my big girl chest for a while. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for listening. Check out Late Checkout. That's why we filmed it at a hotel, because that was kind of the theme. It's kind of like, I ain't going nowhere, baby. Like, what time is late checkout? That's the vibe. That's very much the theme of the scent. And I'm so glad that it's finally fall and winter, because I'm biased, but like winter candles are my favorite. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to show you some BTS from my shoot. Bye. This room type.
Oh, nice. Very cute, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, are we staying?
Oh, I was gonna say we should stay.
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna distract
I didn't bring
like,
skincare. I didn't bring anything.
I can go buy it for you.
No. It would be really nice though. Might as well put it together.
It's a great view. Hello, hello. Hi, my name's Dennis Asamoah, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Forever Mood. My favorite part about this candle launch is that it smells really good. I mean, really good. The most amazing person in the world, Jackie, obviously my wife, my partner, my everything. Yeah, we started the brand in 2020.
I finally
Can I see a test shot?
10 times better.
Okay. Can I see a test shot?
Love.
Perfect. Okay.
And so today we are doing a shoot for a new candle in November that we're launching. Can I say what it is? Well, I am gonna say what it is. It's called Late Checkout. Really excited because we haven't launched a candle in over a year, and our audience, our community have been screaming at us to bring out a new candle, and we are going to make it happen finally. I just did my little cameo. I'm not really good on the camera, but I'm trying. Just working with the team, the production, it's just fun. Just all of us coming together and creating magic.
How busy has the day been, Jackie?
Like decent. Monday's always kind of like the catch-up day. Like everybody's trying to offers come in or like new stuff, but it's actually been like decent.
Good Monday.
Oh, it's beautiful right now. Perfect. That's wet.
Where's the wet?
That one's wet too. They're moist.
Let me see.
It's like moist to me.